A warm afternoon and welcome to these Senate proceedings. This is a live broadcast brought to you by the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation in collaboration with the Parliamentary Broadcasting Unit, PBU. This is a hearing of the motion for the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Robert Monda, the Deputy Governor of Kisii County. This is the business that is before the Senate for today and tomorrow. And earlier during the day, the Senate considered the recital of their mandate of the Senate and Rules of Procedure, the hearing program. And then there was the introduction of members of the County Assembly of Kisii representing the County Assembly and their council. And there was the introduction of the Deputy Governor of Kisii County and the council representing the Deputy Governor. And then there was the reading of the charges. And then there was the opening statement on behalf of the County Assembly and the opening statement on behalf of the Deputy Governor, as well as the preliminary issues that were raised during that morning session. Just a recap of what happened during the morning session. There was the introduction of the council representing the County Assembly as follows. They will be led by Mr. Degwa Jiro, an advocate, and then Mr. Elias Mutuma, an advocate too, Mr. Ndegwa Charles Mwangi, Ms. Anne Munyoki, and Mr. Vita Wahome Mburu, an IT technical production person. And then the County Assembly indicated that they will be calling the following witnesses during the session once it resumes in the afternoon. Honorable Wycliffe Gesori Siocha, Dennis Mokaya Misati, Lucy Wahito Washira, Karen Magara Rather, and Ruben Monda Orangi Matundura. And then the Deputy Governor's side is led by Senior Counsel Kato Kigen, and they are represented by several other advocates that will be there. That is Advocate Mr. Wilkins Ochoki, Mr. Osoro Honorable Osoro Sivanas, and Mr. Kelvin Mishuki. During the morning session, the charges were read to the Deputy Governor Onsare Monda Robert, and they included, among others, the charge on gross violation of the Constitution or any other law. And then there was the charge number 2 of abuse of office, and then charge number 3 on gross misconduct. And then there was also the charge number 4 of crimes under national law. And all these charges, the Deputy Governor pleaded not guilty to all the 4 charges, and the Senate now proceeded to hear these this motion for impeachment. We are waiting for quorum in the Senate, and once we get the quorum, we shall add you over to the Senate to proceed with their proceedings. And during the morning session, there were several issues that were raised by the parties for consideration by the Speaker and determination by the Speaker in line with the standing orders number 80 of the Senate Standing Orders and the third schedule, part 1 of the Senate Standing Orders, the third schedule, part 1, rule number 30 that gives the Speaker of the Senate the discretion to rule on any matter that is not provided for in cases of impeachment. And the key among the issues that will be ruled upon this afternoon once the sitting resumes will be whether will be the preliminary issues that were raised by the Katwa and Kemboi advocates on behalf of the Deputy County Governor of Kisii on whether the County Assembly can adduce additional evidence and material procured subsequent to the hearing and determination of the impeachment motion by the County Assembly. You can see the Senate, the Speaker's procession ascent at the chamber, led by the mace that symbolizes the authority of Parliament. And once the chair is taken, we shall add you over to these proceedings. Welcome.
Na tuombe. Ewe Mwenyezi Mungu, twakusihi ututazame kwa neema nyingi na baraka sisi watumishi wako, ambao umeridhika kutuita kwa nyadhifa za uongozi katika jamhuri yetu. Tukuomba tuwajalie tuyatende na kufikiria mambo yote yatakayofikishwa mbele yetu kwa njia ya haki na uaminifu, ili kustawisha amani, ufanisi na heri ya nchi hii yetu na wale ambao haja zao umezikabidhi mikononi mwetu. Amen. Clerk, do we have quorum? Sergeant at Arms, kindly ring the quorum bell for 10 minutes.
Thank you. The Honorable Speaker of the Senate has ordered the quorum bell to be rung for 10 minutes. This is in line with the Senate Standing Orders 39 and 40 that states that the quorum for the Senate shall be 15 senators, and then the quorum at the commencement of a sitting of a Senate should be 15 senators too. And if there is no quorum when the chair is taken at the time appointed for a sitting of the Senate, the Speaker immediately after the prayer orders the bell to be rung for 10 minutes, and this is a process that is ongoing now until the Senate achieve that quorum of 15 members to begin their proceedings. You can see on your screens there is Elias Mutuma, as well as Degwan Jiru, the advocates for the County Assembly. And among the issues that will be ruled upon by the Speaker, as you had indicated earlier this afternoon, include the application by the County Assembly on the expansion of certain paragraphs from the response by the Deputy Governor, that is paragraphs 48 to 64, as well as some of the responses. They were saying that some of those responses were to charges that were not read or material at the time this motion was considered at the County Assembly. And then there will be the issue on the summoning of One, Mr. Agai will come to give evidence on whether to produce rather his appointment letter. That is the Deputy Governor for Kisii, Dr. Robert Monda, with his counsel, Senior Counsel Kato Kigen. And David Agai is being summoned when, if the Speaker will allow the summoning, to appear and produce his appointment letter. And let's see if there's quorum.
Clerk, you may proceed to call the first order.
Order number 1, communication from the chair.
Senator Mandago and Senator Tabitha, kindly take your seat as I make this communication. Now, honorable senators, at the rise of the House after the morning session, I had indeed indicated that I was going to deliver my ruling this afternoon. Now, the ruling is not ready yet. It's being typed. And therefore, I'll invoke Standing Order 1 to suspend the sitting for half an hour to allow the ruling to be typed. Once we reconvene, then I will be in a position to deliver that ruling. As you might notice, we cannot proceed with these proceedings unless we dispense with the matters that had been raised in form of preliminary objections. So, honorable senators, kindly be upstanding. This sitting is suspended for half an hour. We shall reconvene after that time. Thank you.
The Speaker of the Senate has suspended the sittings of the Senate for 30 minutes to allow him to have the ruling on the preliminary issues that were raised at the rise of the House in the morning session, or sitting rather, to be typed in order to be read to enable the Senate to consider or continue the sitting for today. I just indicated that those issues have to be canvassed and ruled upon before now the Senate can proceed to hear the impeachment motion and consider that impeachment motion rather of the Deputy Governor for Kisii County. And the standing order that he hears the Honorable Speaker has invoked is standing order number 1 that states that in cases not provided for, the Speaker to decide, where in all cases that are where matters are not expressly provided for by these standing orders or by any other orders of the Senate or any procedural question shall be decided by the Speaker. And then that decision should be based on the Constitution of Kenya, the statute law, and the usages, forms, precedents, customs, procedures, and traditions of the Parliament of Kenya, any other jurisdiction to the extent that these are applicable to Kenya. The preliminary issues that the Honorable Speaker of the Senate is meant to rule on the following. Number one, there is preliminary issues that were raised by the Deputy County Governor of Kisii through his counsel, Katwa Kigen Senior Counsel, on whether the County Assembly can adduce additional evidence and material procured subsequent to the hearing and its determination of impeachment motion by the County Assembly of Kisii, whether the proceedings before the Kisii County Assembly and the Senate are fatally incompetent as they were presented to the Kisii County Assembly and to the Senate outside the timeline set out in Section 33 of the County Governments Act and the Kisii County Assembly Standing Orders 60 to 64. And the final preliminary issue raised by the Deputy Governor is whether the Senate can investigate and consider impeachment proceedings instituted on an incompetent notice and motion as per the provisions of Section 33 of the County Government Act and the Kisii County Assembly Standing Orders 60 to 64. And then there was the other preliminary issues that were raised by the County Assembly as well. And key among these issues, under the Standing Order 80, paragraph 8 and the part 1, rule 10 of the third schedule of the Senate Standing Orders on the procedure for Senate when considering removal or an impeachment motion of a deputy governor or a governor. And this Rule 10, under this Rule 10, the County Assembly wants the summoning of Mr. David Agai Oyagi to produce his appointment letter and confirm if the persons who are said to be working in the Deputy Governor's home are officials in the county. And then there is also the issue that was raised by Senator for Nandi, Samson Cheragei, on the appearance of Honorable Silvanus Osoro on behalf of the Deputy Governor. That is, he based his preliminary issue on Article 75 of the Constitution of Kenya on the public values, on the conduct of state officers, or that Article 75 of the Constitution states that a state officer shall behave whether in public and official life, in private life, or in association with other persons, in a manner that avoids any conflict between personal interest and public or official duties, compromising any public or official interest in favor of a personal interest, or demeaning the office that officer holds. And this is the basis on which now there's that preliminary issue on the appearance of Honorable Soro on behalf of the Deputy Governor is based on. And then the County Assembly also seeks to have paragraphs 40